I'm guessing when you clicked on this video, you're wondering what the heck is Historic Commander. Well, it's just a theoretical format at this point, but it's a format that Commander, specifically Casual Commander, has needed for a couple years now. It's inspired by the format on MTG Arena called Historic Brawl. Historic Brawl combines two formats. Brawl, which is a Commander format that only uses standard legal cards with a few other minor changes, and Historic, which gives you access to all the cards available on Arena, which is basically Kaladesh through the current standard set. I played Historic Brawl while it was available on Arena, and I had an absolute blast playing it. I fought a large variety of decks and deck strategies, and I felt that any type of deck had a solid chance of winning. Using Historic Commander, I wanted to bring this gameplay to Paper Magic. To be fair though, there weren't any rankings, so people were playing for fun rather than to win, which lowers the power level of the decks. You may be thinking that's cute and all, but we already have Commander, a fantastic format where you can use any card, and it's already in a great and healthy state. I hate to say it, but I no longer think that's true. Commander, specifically Casual Commander, is dying, and already dead in my mind. There are a couple reasons why that I'll lay out in this video, and I'll go into detail why I think Historic Commander will create that Casual Commander experience that I and so many other people miss. Commander has suffered tremendously under the extreme power creep that has plagued Magic ever since about 2017. Just look how many cards that have been banned in the last couple years in Standard compared to the prior decade. When you compare this to earlier years, there appears to be an effort to push the power level of cards far past where they should be. I, like many people, believe that the reason why they upped the power level is so games on MTG Arena are much faster. This makes sense for that game, since you don't want to be bored to death with slow, grindy games where neither player is doing much to affect the board. I think they've succeeded in that goal. Games are very fast on Arena, except when Teferi Nexus to Fate were running amok. I still get angry just thinking about that stupid deck. Unfortunately, this standard set power creep has had negative consequences on every other format as well. Casual Commander has gone from games lasting about 6 to 10 turns to about 4 to 6. As a comparison, CDH games last about 1 to 4 turns, so Casual Commander has gotten to the point where games are almost as short as CDH games. Games are so fast they tend to be lopsided, when one person completely dominates and the other players just watch. This has been accelerated with the printing of Jeweled Lotus and the reprintings of the once expensive Mana Rocks and Double Masters. Since the Mana Rocks are so much cheaper, people are able to run them more, even in casual decks. I've always thought that the running of fast Mana Rocks was one of the most important distinctions between CDH and Casual Commander. Another major problem is that combo decks have taken over Casual Commander. There are just so many cards available in the card pool that just about every commander combos out with some combination of cards. Oh, and if they don't, guess what? You can't play that commander, or you're going to lose the combo. Aggro, an already struggling archetype, is just about non-existent at this point. Unless, of course, you don't like winning and just taking out one other player, pissing them off, and then dying to the other two. That way you two losers get to watch the other two play. Isn't that fun? The aggro problem of taking out one player and having the other two take you out has never been solved in Commander and has just gotten worse. Or they don't even care because you take out one player and one of the other two will just combo out way before you can take them out. Voltron also follows the same problem as aggro. Commander damage has almost become a joke at this point. Just about every game I have to joke around about how Commander's totally going to kill somebody with like 7 attacks. Oh, how scary. Control is combined with combo since combo is the best finisher in Commander, and there are so many ridiculously cheaply costed counterspells that whole Commander decks can be just efficiently costed counterspells, your combo piece, and your Commander can either be some ridiculous card draw engine, a combo finisher, or both. I would call a Control combo hybrid the default strategy in Commander now. Mid-range value decks end up becoming a Control combo hybrid as you build the deck. Big mana decks, well, every deck has access to fast mana rocks, so you'll just end up using the same cards as everyone else, which makes it not a real archetype in Commander anymore. Tribal decks. Is there a combo? No? Then you're not getting enough attacks in to win. Token decks follow the same problem. Power creep has turned this format that was once filled with a large variety of deck archetypes and strategies into every deck being control combo, which is so boring and disappointing. I've outlined why every deck is a combo deck now, so why not ban the combos? Well, there's a problem with that. You'd have to ban probably about 100 freaking cards. There are just so many combos, and banning all the combos is going to unfairly wreck CDH, which is a whole other format that's actually gotten more and more interesting as the power creep has continued to increase. Now, combos aren't even the main problem. Combos and archetype in other formats too, and they're usually a powerful but fair strategy to some interesting play with the other archetypes. The fast mana is the main problem. There are just so many excellent mana rocks available that you can combo out way sooner than the game's really able to handle, especially in casual commander. But you can't ban the fast mana since it messes with CDH. It would make one drop mana dorks even more broken. Well, ban the mana dorks too, I hear you saying. Okay, are we allowed to play with any of our cards anymore? And again, I don't want to affect CDH with bans. CDH has been in a good place for a while, as a brutal legacy multiplayer format, which has a surprisingly high variety of commanders and combos available to use. Everything is overpowered, which makes everything balanced. All the cards are 10 out of 10 on the power scale, and the format has already been as fast as it can be. I don't think it's fair to the CDH community to ban cards for casual commander that affect their meta. This may be controversial to say, but CDH should be given commander. They've earned it, and us casual commander fans need to move on. I haven't been able to make a casual commander deck in 2 years. Making a casual only commander that's still powerful is just too difficult. Every commander usually ends up being CDH only, or just not having a combo to win with to be playable. Historic Commander gets rid of the need for all these bans since it doesn't include any combos and any of the fast mana rocks. CEDH ends up being unaffected and we get a new casual format. Everybody wins. There's been a lot of cards printed in Magic in the past 27 plus years, so when you have access to almost all those cards, some are going to fly under the radar. For instance, back in about 2014, before Commander content was readily available on the internet, there's some really powerful staples that I, along with most people, didn't even know existed. The first one that comes to mind is Mystic Remora. The text on the actual card reads weird, saying that whenever target opponent and pay 4 to counter this effect. What the heck does that mean? And what the heck is a cumulative upkeep? It doesn't really look like a magic card, and it's a picture of some derpy looking fish, but it's not a creature. It's from some old booty set I've never heard of. It hasn't been reprinted. Screw this weird card. Well, turns out it's one of the best blue cards in Commander, but few people even knew about it for a while. I didn't start seeing it until about 2016 in CDH decks. It's taken years and years for the Commander community to truly analyze all the cards available to use and the possible powerful combinations of cards. Thanks to all the online resources and years of experience under the community's belt, you can go online and quickly build an almost fully optimized version of whatever deck you want to build. This, however, has made the format much faster since everyone's playing more optimized decks. I think that after all these years, the format has finally been solved. We as a community need a new challenge. A format that hasn't been figured out yet is always an interesting challenge and leads to more casual games and more creative deck building. You'd also be able to use pet cards that you simply can't use in Commander anymore, or new interesting cards that you want to use but are simply too weak for Commander, or there are no deck slots for it in your already established decks. I'm going to be honest, I really hate 4 and 5 color commanders. They create the problem of instead of building around the commander and being restricted to its colors, you can just make a 4 or 5 color good stuff deck with a combo finisher. Back before the 2016 4 color commanders, the highest number of colors you could have for a solid commander was 3, which was still restrictive enough to force you to be creative with your deck building and fully utilize your commander. If you wanted to play 5 color good stuff, you basically had to play Child of Alara or some other almost useless 5 color commander. That was part of the trade-off of having access to all of the colors. You had to give up your commander. The exception being the 5-color tribal commanders, but their restriction was you had to play a tribal strategy with them, otherwise they didn't do anything. At the time, I didn't realize how important of a balance this was. Fast forward to 2016 and we get the first ever 4-color commanders and the dreaded 2-color partners. Now you can play 4 colors while still having access to a powerful commander, or commanders, which is basically 5-color. Now good stuff 4+ colors is basically the default way to play commander, although it did take about a year for people to realize just how good 4 colors was. Now they've made so many good 5-color commanders that if you aren't playing 4 or 5-color good stuff control combo, then you're doing it wrong. Even playing a 3-color deck, you feel like you're unnecessarily restricting yourself. It's at the point that the color identity rule for commander might as well not exist. The 5-color commander trade-off was a surprisingly important part of commander that no one talks about, but its destruction has done tremendous damage to the format. Well, if you hate commander so much, why don't you play Brawl, you whiny little turd? Well, unfortunately, I have even more problems with that format. The biggest one is rotation. I hate rotation. Putting so much time, work, and money into a deck for it to rotate is incredibly annoying, to the point where I will never play a rotating format. When I first heard about Brawl, I was super excited. I thought to myself, finally, a commander variant where it can feel like the old casual commander. But then I heard that it followed the standard rotation. My excitement quickly turned into pessimism and disdain. It seemed to me and many others that it was a cash grab to trick commander players into buying standard legal products. I quickly forgot about the format and continued playing commander. Rotation is a huge issue, but another one is the standard card pool is simply too small, especially after rotation where there are only 4 sets available. Making a 60-card singleton deck is just too difficult with the small card pool. And I want my giant 100-card decks that give a large amount of variation to each game that you play, and a lot of potential deck slots, not these tiny 60-card baby decks. This is something I haven't figured out yet for Historic Commander, just how many cards should be in a deck. I don't know if the card pool is large enough for 100-card decks, but I just love having a ton of deck slots to work with. Let me know in the comments which you'd prefer, 100 or 60 card decks, because I haven't figured it out yet. Lately I've been playing Historic Brawl in Arena and having a great time. It reminds me of old casual Commander, even though it was just 1v1. I ran into a huge variety of decks and deck strategies. It was finally the format that Brawl should have been in the first place. I felt that the card pool was plenty large enough for 60 card decks, maybe even 100 card decks, solving one of the main issues I had with Brawl. There was one problem I ran into where people were running these random overpowered cards that shouldn't have been legal. Cards like the Jumpstart set cards, Thoughtseize, Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, Mindstone, and Chrome's Memorial. I honestly have no clue why they were on Arena since I just recently got back into the game. They haven't been standard legal in a long time, and the Historic Commander format wouldn't include those cards. Only standard legal cards Kaladesh going forward, which doesn't include the Kaladesh Inventions and Amonkhet Invocations, or any other non-standard legal cards printed in standard sets. I also don't know what the starting life totals should be. In multiplayer Brawl, the starting life totals are 30, which to me seems like a reasonable amount. If 30 is the starting life total, commander damage really shouldn't be a thing, since 21 isn't too much lower than 30. Plus, I am so sick of trying to keep track of commander damage. Having all these dice laying around trying to keep track of life, commander attacks, and 3 players' commander damage can be annoying and cumbersome at times, especially if players have partners, so that's even more crap to keep track of. I also would ditch having planeswalkers as commanders. Planeswalkers as commanders significantly slow down the game, since they don't do damage and eat a ton of damage that would be going to your life total instead of the planeswalker's loyalty. There are already plenty of creature commanders to choose from for any strategy, so having planeswalkers as commanders seems to be unnecessary. It would significantly slow down the format. Here are the cards that are already banned in Historic Brawl. Drannith Magistrate, Gideon's Intervention, Ruined Halo, and Sorcerer's Spyglass are all commander hate cards that wouldn't support a healthy game environment. Golos Tireless Pilgrim, Nexus of Fate, Oko Thief of Crowns, Teferi Time Raveler, and Winota Joiner of Forces are all banned for being too overpowered. I'm skeptical about Winota and Teferi, while the other three I definitely agree with, especially Golos since he'd be the default 5-color good stuff commander. Luteria Spell Chaser is an auto ban in any singleton format. Meddling Mage is one of those old cards that's randomly on arenas, so it wouldn't be legal in our format anyways, so it's not worth mentioning. There's a surprising amount of efficient and powerful ramp available in green and historic that can power Zakama out way too fast, and once he's out, you have to answer him or he'll continually wipe the board. If you're lucky enough to be able to answer him once, well, they'll just cast him again, and you need to answer him again. He ends up creating incredibly annoying board states. This might be mitigated in multiplayer, where 3 players may have enough removal to deal with him, but I fought him in 1v1 on Arena, and in that setting it felt easily ban-worthy. Omnath, Locus of Creation, breaks the color restriction rule by being 4 colors, plus he suffers from the same issue as Zakama, where they can just continually play him. I was playing a Bolos control deck and killed Omnath about 5 freaking times, and they were able to play him over and over again with no issue. He definitely felt ban-worthy, and he would be banned in Historic Commander, especially since he's 4 colors. I ran into Liliana Dreadboard General multiple times in the 59, and it instantly took over the game every time. She was impossible to deal with, since she creates blockers, kills creatures, and draws you cards. It was definitely giving me Oko vibes. I'd still have to test her some more. She may just be a really powerful card, but not ban-worthy, although she definitely felt close to being ban-worthy. Niv Mizzet Reborn breaks the color restriction rule by being a powerful 5-color commander, especially since he's card advantage in the command zone. Arcane Signet would be the Soul Ring of Historic Commander, although I do think the other colors need some efficient ramp to keep up with green, so there's no way I'd ban this card, but it's worth mentioning since literally every deck will be playing it. Kennerith the Return King is another commander that breaks the color restriction rule, and boy is he a busted one. What is with all these broken 5-color commanders that they've been printing lately? Joda Archmage Eternal breaks the color restriction rule, however he isn't card advantage in the command zone. That being the case, I'd allow him to be the 5-color commander that you play for 5-color good stuff, since it doesn't help the strategy that much. And Joda's just a fun commander that I'd be sad if it were banned. I think Gigantha is another fair 5-color commander that doesn't do anything too busted. It would be another choice for a player that wants to play 5-color good stuff. Even quote-unquote fair 2-lane decks are busted. He simply ramps too much and draws too many cards for you to be allowed to have access to it in the command zone. And as another added overpowered benefit, he protects himself too. Yeah, no, he needs to be banned. Smothering Tithe is an absolute powerhouse of a card that is busted in multiplayer Magic, but not in 1v1. Plus, it slows the game down too much having to ask if you're paying 2 mana every other second. It's too powerful and it creates an annoying game environment and would be banned. I didn't see Mox Amber anywhere when I was playing Historic Brawl. It seems like it would be almost as ubiquitous as Arcane Signet, but that just doesn't seem to be the case. I definitely wouldn't ban it, but I'd keep it on a watch list. Fraying Sanity and Maddening Cacophony is a 1-hit KO combo for the enchanted player. I'd probably ban Fraying Sanity since it's the main problem, and would continue to be a problem for any mill cards printed in the future that would work like Traumatize. It's simply not fun to be the person randomly taken out of a game because someone so happened to have both these cards in their hand. Walking Ballista and Heliod's Sun Crown are an infinite damage combo when paired together. I banned Walking Ballista because it's a combo finisher in so many other combos in other formats, but honestly Heliod I could see comboing with other cards in the future, so I'd watch out for him too. Felidar Guardians and Healy Rai when paired together make infinite Felidar Guardian tokens. I banned Felidar Guardian just like what they had to do when both cards were in standard. Here's a quick rundown of the rules of Historic Commander compared to Historic Brawl. I haven't had the opportunity to test this format out yet in a multiplayer setting, since Arena doesn't support multiplayer Magic, but I think it should play well. I don't see the boards being stalled from everyone playing cards that are too weak to have an impact on the game, since the power level of cards available in the past couple years is incredibly high. The horrible experience I had drafting Commander Legends and seeing others draft this set taught me what happens in a multiplayer game where no one is using powerful cards. The boards get stalled out for many consecutive turns, and it's just a draw pass since everyone's boards are so clogged up and they'll die on the crackback if they try and attack a player. This was a bit of a problem in really old Commander, like before 2013, but I think the power level of cards in Historic Commander will overcome this potential issue. Again, I'd have to do a lot of testing to find out if that's truly the case. I think this format is something that casual Commander fans need. I'm excited about making some fun, powerful, casual decks again with a ton of brand new cards that I haven't used before. As I said earlier, I haven't been able to make a casual Commander deck in 2 years, and I love playing casual Commander, but the card pool is just so big and the variety of combos is so massive that I always end up making a competitive deck with any new Commander that comes out. It seems silly to me to have to nerf your Commander and play a much less optimized version of the deck if I wanted to make it casual. I want to know in the comments your opinion of the format. I have felt frustrated with the state of casual Commander, and I know many other people feel the same way. Historic Commander is a format that I've wanted for a couple years now, ever since the disappointing announcement that Brawl would rotate. I really need help generating excitement for this format, and this video is the genesis of this format idea, since I've seen no one talk about it as a potential format for paper Magic. I think it's exactly what us casual Commander fans need to get excited about playing a casual form of Commander again. If you agree, I implore you to share this video around and discuss it within the community. The Commander format started off in the community, and the spiritual successor will have to start there too. A format with no players is not a format. Right now it's just an idea, but I really want this to become a format that we can all enjoy for years to come. I'm planning on making some deck techs for this theoretical format in the future, so if you want to see those, be sure to subscribe to my channel, and be sure to like the video if you enjoyed. Please comment what you think about the format, because I'm really interested in your opinions, and I want to thank you for watching.